The military momentum is ramping up tonight around Venezuela. As we go to air, we are tracking a high-stakes Coast Guard pursuit of a sanctioned oil tanker in the high seas. It's called the Bella 1. The U.S. sanctioned it last year, identifying it as part of Venezuela's shadow fleet that operates in violation of U.S. sanctions, transporting Venezuelan crude. The ship was headed to Venezuela this weekend to load up when the Coast Guard moved in, stopped it, and tried to board it. But Bella 1 issued mayday calls and fled into the Atlantic Ocean, leading to this active pursuit that continues at this hour. If the United States catches it, it will be the third such tanker seized in just over a week. On Saturday, the U.S. seized a Panamanian-flagged tanker called Centuries. And back on December 10th, the Coast Guard nabbed the Skipper, the ship that kicked off this campaign. After that seizure, President Trump ordered a blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers entering and leaving Venezuela. And if you're wondering what happens to those tankers and all that oil, here's what President Trump said just moments ago at Mar-a-Lago.
We're going to keep it.
Where's it? Are we going to sell it or put it in the strategic?
Maybe we'll sell it. Maybe we'll keep it. Maybe we'll use it in the strategic reserves. We're keeping it. We're keeping the ships also.
Today, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem reiterated this action near Venezuela is all about cutting off revenue for the regime of President Nicolas Maduro, whom the United States has accused of involvement in narco-terrorism.
Also sending a message around the world that the illegal activity that Maduro is participating in cannot stand. He needs to be gone, and that we will stand up for our people. They're using these dollars to funnel and purchase and proliferate drugs around the world that's killing the next generation of Americans.
The tanker pursuit is only part of the bigger picture. The United States has amassed a fleet of warships in the waters near Venezuela, including the world's largest aircraft carrier. And just a short while ago, President Trump announced that the Navy is going to build a new battleship, part of a new fleet that's more powerful than ever, one that he says will inspire, quote, fear among America's enemies. Let's go right now to NewsNation's Kelly Meyer, live for us down in Florida, where the president is. Kelly, you were in the room when President Trump made his remarks just now. Break down for us what Trump is saying about what the end game, the end goal is here.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I tried to ask President Trump inside Mar-a-Lago just moments ago. The announcement he made had to do with shipbuilding, but there were a lot of questions around whether or not it would be about Venezuela with what you just laid out, the escalation we are seeing, specifically over the weekend with the latest active pursuit of that third tanker and the seizure of the second tanker on Saturday. President Trump told me he did speak with DHS Secretary Noem today, as well as Tom Homan. He said she came down here and they were talking about this, exactly what you laid out with the escalation with Venezuela, the ongoing fight against the cartels. So I asked him, he continues to say that there will be strikes on land in Venezuela. I asked him, you know, you've said this 15 times, including in his remarks just tonight. And so I asked him, why should Maduro take your threat seriously, and what is the end game here? And this is what he had to say.
Why should Maduro take your threat seriously? And
he can do whatever he wants.
What's your end game?
Maduro?
What's your end game?
There's no answer. He can do whatever he wants. I mean, we have a massive armada formed, the biggest we've ever had, and by far the biggest we've ever had in South America. He can do whatever he wants. It's all right. Whatever he wants to do. If he wants to do something, if he plays tough, it'll be the last time he's ever able to play tough.
So if he plays tough, it'll be the last time he's ever able to play tough. That from the president to us a short time ago. And it comes as he made that announcement about the Trump fleet, the new battleships that he's calling the Trump class, the USS Defiant. A picture on those battleships is of the president holding his fist up after that infamous moment of his attempted assassination in Butler, Pennsylvania. That image is on one of the battleships. The posters were laid out there in the room they call the library inside Mar-a-Lago, where we were just in. So it does still pertain to this show of force that the president is trying to show here as he continues to beef up the military might in the Caribbean and continues with his pursuit of these tankers as well as those alleged drug boats.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.